In July 1965, women in France won the right to have a bank account in their name. That's almost 60 years ago. We have an appointment on the 7th of January that Jo set up for us with her bank, Credit Mutuel, and they wanted all our details, and I gave them to Jo, and she sent them on, and they've got all our details, his name, my name, blah, blah, blah. Letter arrived in the post this morning from Credit Mutuel, who we have no other business with, so there's no reason for them to write to us, apart from we're now on their system. Addressed to Mark, not addressed to me. I'm fuming, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do the banking. He doesn't do financing. He doesn't do any of that. But they've addressed the fucking letter to him. I'm fuming, and I've written a letter. I'm going to cancel the appointment because I just think 60 years and still you've not got your act together. I'm not willing. It's like I just have to make a stand. You know what I'm like. I can't put up with all this bullshit. So I'm cancelling that rendezvous. I'm going to set up a rendezvous with a bank in Saint-Savin. I don't need to go to Memorial. I go to Saint-Savin. I can put up with them being... I'll make sure that they're not, because we'll go in person and make the appointment, and then we'll go in person and make sure that they set the bank accounts up correctly. The important thing to remember with bank accounts when you take them out in France is that the bank account is set up in both names, and any checks can be signed by Monsieur ou Madame, Mr. or Madame, not and. That is so important. If you don't get that set up when you set your bank account up, you could end up in a very difficult situation if one of you dies. If one of you dies, and you cannot write checks because it needs both of you to sign the check, which is absolute bollocks as well. But I've heard of people who've been left pretty stranded whilst all this takes time to get sorted out. So yeah, that I said to Mark just now, I said to him, I'm going to cancel that rendezvous and make another one and make it locally. We don't need to go to Memorial. We can go and make our, do our banking just in Saint-Savin. It's where I draw my money out. It's the same bank I draw my money out from, and it just makes sense. And yeah, what on earth is wrong with them that they're still writing to the man? Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to make 2 vlogs because there's something else I want to talk about, and I think these are too separate to put in one vlog, so I will make another vlog. The Robin vlog finished uploading at 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 2:30. I told you in my post that I'd had problems trying it and got in such a muddle. So I'm now editing it in YouTube, which is taking forever, to try and give you just Robins and, a little bit of what's going on, because there's a lot of boring empty space in the middle of all of this. So far, and I think I've reached the end of that now, so far, what I uploaded was about half an hour, and I've managed to reduce it to 9 minutes. Because that's all there is of the birds, is about 9 minutes. I'm going to add some music to it because there's nothing going on apart from the birds. There's not any bird song. There's not much noise. There's a bit of traffic noise, and I'm not sure if it's left in or whether I've removed it now. But there's at least one place where the bird obviously lands on my phone or the tripod, so it shakes a bit, and you won't know this until you see this, which God knows how long that's going to take to upload. So yeah, that's it. Mark's had a blood test this morning. I picked up 2 or 3 bits I needed from shopping, and we've come home. We've got art tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, and then nothing planned. Vicky was here yesterday for her last day for 3 weeks. She's off to Scotland. They drive all the way up, leave here early morning and drive all the way up to Glasgow, I think. But and she doesn't. I don't know whether they share the driving. couldn't be doing with that. We talked about drives when we were out this morning, talked about drives that we've done, and it must have been 10 years ago at least. We had to go over, Mark's uncle Paul died, and I booked us, was it Uncle Paul first of all? No, my auntie died, and I booked us flights into Liverpool for her funeral, and then I put Ryanair, and then his uncle died, and his funeral was the day before my aunt's in Liverpool. Trying to get money back out of Ryanair, of course, was impossible. But ultimately, I did get our money back on our flight because they wanted a death certificate, and Mark's uncle's name was the same as his deceased father, so it's the same name. So I used that certificate, and I got our money back. But so we had to drive. So we drove up from here to Kent, which takes us about 6.5, 7 hours, probably less than that 10 years ago, because I probably wasn't stopping as much for the loo. Drove into Kent, where the first funeral was. I guess we got there the night before. Got there the night before. Went to Paul's funeral, which was in Wye, a pretty village in Kent. Spent half an hour at the wake, and then had to get in the car and drive up to the Wirral, which took us, it was horrible weather, took us all day, got there quite late in the evening for the night in a Premier Inn, I think, on the Wirral, and Higher Bevington, I think it is. That's where my aunt lived, and went to her cremation the following day, and then we drove back to Tarpley, where he has relatives, and visited them. Drove home. We did thousands of miles, got home, and 3 or 4 days later, or about a week later, Auntie Barbara died, who was the relative that we'd visited in Tarpley. So I said to him, we can't go to the funeral, we can't go back. So yeah, it was, so we were thinking about that, and I was thinking it must have been 10 years ago or more, because we're not fit to do that sort of driving now. It really was a push for us then, and we were really knackered when we got back, but I can't envisage it now. It's like now when, it's like, more recently when Nigel died, there's no way that we could go over for the funeral. And that's really sad, but we know our limitations now. And both my parents are dead, so I don't have to do that. And yeah. So yeah, we were thinking about all those long drives that we used to do that we can't do now, and don't plan to do. Once a year up to the UK and back's enough for us. And this year we won't have to go up to Lincolnshire, because my son will be over with his family in September, I think. August or September, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to finish this Robin vlog, see if I can find something nice, like a little bit of music to put with it, so it's still not going to be ready. And you will have seen it by the time you're seeing what I'm saying about it. And then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to do the other vlog that I intend to do, which I think needs to be a separate vlog. Anyway, there we go. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for communicating with me. Thank you for your comments. I enjoy reading them and often replying to them. And I'm quite shocked that we have a nice community here. Not something I ever envisaged when I started uploading to YouTube. Okay, see you later.